a light that will shine, shine, shine on your mind, mind, mind. Yeah, so bright, 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 that will shine, 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 bright, 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 bright on your mind, mind, mind. Yeah, so bright, bright, bright.
Hello, hello, hello. Привет.
Привет, hello.
Да, привет. So you're talking from different, locations, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
all different locations. Welcome, Valery.
Hello, hello, my friends. Hello, hello.
How are you, Valery?
Well, busy. Very interesting. The whole situation here in Russia is very interesting now. So really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So,
bet we'll get to that.
4.5 hours to sleep per day.
Oh,
Well, that's enough.
Right.
You got your
Right.
wand too.
Yeah. By the way, the wands and the insoles with the copper and zinc inserts, they help me they're helping me very well. Very well. So nice to see you. So I have heard that you have got some question. I've got just idea from you, Christina.
Yeah.
And the first thing, the first thought which I got that what you pointed out in your message is worth to make a few interviews or like
Oh, yeah.
like
We can always do that.
talks
Yeah.
like this, just few. I don't think it would be right to run along all this stuff for one meeting, because questions you actually are going to ask interesting and very important, and they need to be clarified.
Yeah. So we shouldn't hurry. We just can do a few presentations of ours. Yeah.
Well, anyway, we can make it 3 and 4
Yeah,
if you
sure.
want to comprehend and if you want to make it clear for yourself and for the people who later on will listen to this conversation. Okay.
Sure.
Great.
Beautiful.
Well. Okay, so I'm available for you. You can start if you want.
That's
sure.
just wonderful that you're available, taking the time for us. As usual, we'd like to start probably with a short introduction for our listeners
Yeah.
about Valery Uvarov and who he is.
So
You're asking me, right, about it?
maybe you, Stefan, just could tell basic things what we know about Valery, and then Valery can expand more himself about.
Yeah, Valery Uvarov is a Russian scientist, specialist in paleosciences, paleotechnology, ufologist. Over 22 years devoted to the study of the heritage of the ancient civilizations. He is the director of the International Information Center for UFO Investigation, member of the Russian Geographic Society, author of Project New Atlantis and the Project 12, which you can find on his website information about, which is wands-of-horrors.com, wandsofhorrors.com. He's the author of Experimental Pyramid in St. Petersburg region and the complex of the pyramids in Siberia. Obviously, he's the manufacturer of his Wands of Horus. He's also the head of the UFO Association of the Unity of Supreme Officers of Russia. And he has authored numerous publications on ufology, Egyptology, and other exoterica in Russian and in foreign press. He is the initiator and participant in a number of expeditions to India, Egypt, Mexico, Cambodia, Indonesia, China, and other countries in search of the material evidence of this ancient knowledge. So there we go. Is there anything you would like to add to that, Valery?
I think it's enough. What we are going to talk about now is more important than the story about me personally, because the material I was looking for and was trying to investigate is much more important. And all my life, while I was investigating this, I was dreaming to share this knowledge with people. And this is the case and possibility to share it now with your help. So let's get the show on the road.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, and also you mentioned in your page very nicely that in 2014 you are planning expedition to most special site in Gornaya Shoria, with many megalithic sites and huge megaliths and stunning ones. So have this occurred already, or will it be on your plans?
Now we are going to make a new one next year.
Yeah.
Because this year have been very, very busy with the construction process. Actually, we have made a preliminary expedition to the northern seas in the northern part of Russia, because there are many islands there also with strange, unusual, very ancient pyramids and megalithic structures. So first thing we did this year is just we have prepared like a schedule we're gonna do next year, and already next year, step by step, we will be fulfilling our plans. But we have a lot of plans. Because, it's really so. If you have been on my website and you have seen this megalithic, structures,
it's astonishing.
Huge stones, and for us, on one hand, it's clear. It's, let's say, it's handmade, but I'm not even asking how they did it. My personal first question is what for it was done. What for? Because it's so huge.
Yeah.
So it's like that. Yeah. And at the same time, next year, like from April, 1st of April, we start to build following 8 pyramids in the complex you mentioned at the beginning, near Tomsk, where actually we plan to build 33 pyramid complex.
Wow.
With a living infrastructure around. And this is just kind of a small crystallization point, like the beginning for a new city, like a satellite city for the Tomsk. Yeah, just first of all, we are doing it for students, because maybe you know about it, maybe you don't know, but what is for me personally important, that the first step, the first idea which attracted my attention to this project was the idea about energetic help for students in Tomsk. If you don't know the city, I think people, they don't know about the city, but it's quite in the middle of Russia, and this city has approximately 1 million people living there. And among this 1 million people, 450,000 are students.
Wow.
And the investor who invited me for this project, he said, listen, Valery, we have so many students, and is it possible to create an environment, energetic environment, which would stimulate their creative abilities? Because Russia now is, let's say, on the other step of development, and it happened 2 years ago, and he said, is it possible? I said, for sure, I will do my best. And as long as I was engaged in the process of investigation of ancient knowledge for more than 25 years, I have got something to share, and it will help. So that was the beginning for this project. So next year, we are going to build 8 more pyramids there.
Wow.
You said that started 2 years ago in 2012. Now, we've all watched, and probably many of our listeners too, have watched your Camelot interview in 2007, where you spoke about changes in 2012. Has that occurred the way you envision it?
Yeah. Sure. First of all, I have mentioned there that nothing, just like destruction of the world, nothing like this will happen. No. Actually, if you go to my website, there is a section called, you mentioned already, New Atlantis Project, where I have described the just general idea of the events which had to happen, and actually some of them already happened, and we are waiting for some more events to happen actually next year, according to 12-year cycles and the other ideas that have been found in ancient texts. So actually, yeah, we are standing before the huge changes. But for me personally, as I'm the person, I have kids, like I like kids very much. I love kids all over the world because this is our future. They are our future. And what I'm doing actually, I'm trying to do my best to create an environment for their proper, very effective development. And I'm thinking deeply about the future of our civilization. And working with the ancient texts, I came to understanding, just for me, it's absolutely clear that approximately in 120, 150, in 150 years, another asteroid impact will happen. Huge asteroid impact. And we have got a very short time to get prepared for that. We have a chance. We have a chance maybe to defend, let's say, defend ourselves. But I'm sure on one hand that facing all these disturbances, you know, especially on the political scene we are facing now, I understand, and we all understand, that our attention is attracted somewhere else, not for this particular problem I'm talking right now about. But we should do something. We should do our best, just to, first of all, to bring this idea to humanity, and then we should try to make as more as possible steps towards to each other. So, and at the same time, I understand, and you, I think, also understand that if everything will continue like it goes now for another year and another year, it means we are losing years for preparation. And I think that we have to make our best trying to find connection or contact with some already highly developed civilization which are living here on our planet, but in a parallel reality, in a parallel dimension. And I'm optimistic on one hand about it, because we are sharing one and the same planet. We should understand that on one hand, the general construction of our planet is so unusual, it's so special that people have a very short understanding about it. But step by step, we will be getting more and more ideas, information about it. But right now, at the beginning of the whole story, I'd like to point out that this world is much more complicated than we think. And the actual construction of the place where we live, our planet, is quite different than we think. And just take into account that the parallel reality is very close to us. So, and the planet is the same planet which we are sharing. And it means that if something terrible will happen with our dimension, with our planet in our dimension, it will also get reflection in the parallel realities too. So this is the reason, by the way, and this is the answer, what happened over Chelyabinsk last year. You remember 15th of February last year, 2013, when a huge asteroid had been shut down over Siberia.
Yeah.
This is exactly the case and the mechanism I'm talking about. Somebody shut down it because this pretty big asteroid had dangerous bacteria in its body.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I have gathered a lot of interesting information, and it is already enough to make a couple or maybe 3 full-scale films about this case over Chelyabinsk city. But in general, I tell you that we faced the presence of some highly developed civilization which is very close to us, so close that they shut down this asteroid almost inevitably. And probably if it would, it's so important and it's great that hundreds of people driving cars at that particular moment, they had this, equipment, this video camera in their cars, and they filmed all what happened. So I have gathered, I told you, hundreds of different video, material about it. And what we can see the presence of this highly developed civilization, not only over Russia. I tell you that the most interesting place is Japan. Because the video material which I have received from Japan, it's a video made by Japanese Academy of Science, Geological Academy of Science, and they are actually watching this volcano, Sakurajima volcano. And if you go to internet and just dial them to Sakurajima, you will get access to a lot of videos where you can see how this parallel civilization is shutting down meteorites and asteroids daily. Daily. So what we should do? We need to find a contact with them. If we will do that, we will get more information. We will get at least some hints, the ideas which way to go, what kind of technology we can use together with them to defend ourselves. So, and the easiest way how to make this contact, because these steps should be done from our side at the beginning. The pyramids, actually, this is the instrument which can allow us or give us access. It's like a telephone set. If this pyramid is produced properly on a proper place, you can easily get into contact with a parallel reality, parallel civilization. And this contact can start it, and then this is my dream, actually, which I'm actually trying to bring into life. Well, I think and I hope we have a chance to defend ourselves against this future asteroid impact.
And just for our listeners, this asteroid impact happens in a cycle. So it happened before on Earth, obviously. You've extensively written about that in your paper, in your book, The Pyramids?
Yeah, actually, in the Pyramid book, I mentioned, and I gave idea about events which we can divide into 2 main parts. So there are small, like meteorites and small asteroids, which are carrying dangerous bacteria. And these events, when this installation, I'm talking about the installation which shuts down these meteorites and asteroids, it works almost daily. And just because it happens in the remote areas, we have a very short information about it. But this is a local event. At the same time, there are like asteroid impacts on a quite different scale. When asteroid impact can cause upheaval, the whole world was turned upside down. And within the last 18,000 years, we had 3 asteroid impacts. First and second, they were terrible. Just, I have no idea how to explain it in a few words. The last one, the third one, it was asteroid impact exactly in volcano, which we know as Santorin, in the Mediterranean, Santorin. So asteroid hits volcano. But it was a local, let's say, but not so big, not so massive, not so global as the previous ones. So 3 huge impacts, okay? And for me, it was important to find this information in ancient texts, just because on one hand, the present scientific explanation, or when astronomers are talking about these asteroid impacts, they always say in America and Russia that, the huge asteroids, well, like a few hundred meters per or 1 kilometer in diameter, they fall on Earth, well, somewhere 1 time in 1 million years. So no, this is a big mistake, because for last 18,000 years we had 3 asteroid impacts, and first and second, they were terrible. And the asteroids which fall on the Earth, they were more than 1 kilometer in diameter, much more. That's why, for example, the second impact and the ancient texts, which are, when they are describing the event, they describe this asteroid as the planetoid, like a big planet fall down on the planet Earth. So you see? So this is my most important aspect of investigation, and at the same time, sure, knowledge about human health, knowledge about human psyche abilities, how we can develop our health, our abilities, our nervous system, energetic system. So in case, I think in case we will share the information about with other people, we are giving the chance to people to prepare themselves for the future events. But the following years, well, will be pretty heavy. Like the weather changes will be pretty dramatic. All will be changed, like in that countries where winters were warm, winters will be very cold. And here, quite opposite, in Russia, where winters were cold, they will be warm. And so go to my website and you can read it.
Yeah, beautiful. And also it's very fascinating that you are very, as you also yourself said, that you are a practical person and you are approaching things for practical usage, not only believing and knowing things. For example, there is a very huge difference between knowing and believing. And, and those differences in their easiest way can be felt through sensing, through feeling. And, what is knowing and what is believing. When one believes, one lives in life. One is in life. One follows orders, beliefs. One is easily ruled by and controlled. And when you know, on the other hand, you are living in now and knowing the truth and using it, in your own practice, like you do, for example. And that knowledge, as I like to say, and that knowing frees you from the believing, enables you to use that knowledge, gained knowledge, which you found in ancient texts and everywhere else in your practice. And what also found very interestingly, that in one of your presentations you also shared that Egyptians had practical description of God and its works, and how all that energetic fields and everything works, and they use that in practice, as you mentioned. They build pyramids, they build temples, they use that energy for their own growth in practice. And for example, in nowadays society, what we do, we only believing. People are usually going to church. They are not using that energy for their own curing, healing, and so on. So what can you tell about that? And
Oh my gosh! You, on one hand, you asked the question, and you already answered the question, and I'm agreed with you that really there is a big difference between belief and the knowledge. And ancient Egypt is the civilization where I have found traces of that very ancient knowledge about the God and what is important. Most important knowledge. This is knowledge about the God, who He is actually, and at the same time, the following aspect of this knowledge next is the knowledge which we know as the Kabbalah knowledge. Kabbalah. Actually, this is the knowledge about construction of the human being, of the planet Earth, and the whole universe. And this knowledge is giving pure, very understandable picture of this unity of construction. And from this particular knowledge, from this moment, we are making first most important step in understanding how world is constructed, who we are, and who is the God living in us. Because God is looking and watching the world through our eyes. So if you know it and you understood it as I understood it, then how can I kick the nose of my neighbor? It's impossible, because I understand that if I kick the nose, I kick my own nose. Mm-hmm. All this is the reflection. And when people lost this knowledge, we lost the basis, we lost the floor. And then another very important aspect, which I would like also just mention, because this aspect of knowledge, very important, but we can start to talk about it only in case all of us are prepared. I would say like this, from the beginning, or at the beginning, that the powers or something which is over us somehow affected the people. Yes, on one hand, we can say that we are guilty. So people here on this planet, we made a lot of mistakes. But ancient text says that we lost the knowledge about the source, because this knowledge or this source, it explains what is evil and what is kindness, what is power, and what is weakness. So when we lost the knowledge about this source, we found ourselves in this very uncomfortable situations where something, and it's true, there is something above us which is manipulating. And we are just a part of this event, the whole, it's like a kind of a theater. We are living here, we are getting marriages, we are bringing kids, and generation by generation. And very few people, they see that there is something behind the scene which are ruling this world. And on one hand, as I already mentioned, it is important to make the first step, first knowledge about the God, who is He and how the world is constructed. And then the following step is the step when we will very carefully start to watch what is going on around us. In my practical work and investigation during one expedition which I had, actually when I was involved in UFO research, I had a chance, not big but very small chance, but interesting chance to talk with a person. Actually, it was an extraterrestrial person. He explained that he is from our galaxy, and he showed the map of our galaxy where they live, their planet and civilization, so on and so on. And I had a conversation, short one, but very interesting. And he gave me some idea, like a hint, which actually I'm sure I need to share with people somehow, to share. And they said that actually we are going now on planet Earth, our civilization, we are going just almost the same way of mistakes, like a test and mistakes, and we are testing, making mistakes, and then we're trying to find the better way. So they went the same way, but then he said, the real development, very effective development, dynamic development, started from the moment when they understood laws of time and space. And then I asked, can you just give me a little bit more understanding what stands behind it? Just to say time and space, practically, for me, and like for you now, it means nothing. Well, time, what then? And then he said, when we understood it, they have got a possibility to analyze, to see and analyze their past times. They said, we have got a possibility to step back in time. And then when we were analyzing the historical events which took place with us, I mean, he was talking about their civilization. That's why he said, when we were watching the events which took place in their civilization, in their history, they said, we started to see, we have noticed the presence of a third party. Somebody was influencing events. And he explained, when we noticed it and we have started to investigate laws of reasons and to watch and to analyze events of their past from this point of view, they understood the mechanism. They understood what stands behind these events. And this is actually what I'm trying now, actually, to investigate and to bring to people here. And maybe in my following book, I will be able to describe it, because reality is absolutely different, absolutely different. And all the time I'm asking myself why it happens like this. What the reason, even just, for example, very, very brief idea, okay? Just brief idea, because just before I will just touch, I don't want to go deeper. I will just touch a little bit. The other aspect of my investigation, which is very closely connected with spiritual aspect of human being, and the development of our spiritual nature. And we are Christians, okay? People do believe in Jesus Christ, and most of us, we know more or less his history. And at the same time, I'm a person who I prefer scientific approach in any investigation. Not just, ideas, dreaming and fantasies. If I have no scientific provement, or I have no ancient texts talking about one or the other, technology from ancient times, I will never be talking about it publicly or publish material about it. So I am the person standing on scientific approach. So when I started to investigate the history of Jesus Christ, or actually the history of Christianity, the first understanding which paralyzed me, I was just paralyzed, is that the whole story which we know about Jesus Christ took place not in Israel, not in Libya, not there. All took place in France. And at this moment, I asked myself, oh my gosh, why? Tell me, please explain the reason why the whole story about Jesus Christ have been displaced from France to Israel. And then people lost the truth. Mm-hmm. And this is the question, why? Why? What for? What was the reason? So you see, I just give you a short idea about the problems which are, they're making my brain, boil. I'm trying to find an answer. What actually happened? Why? Because as long we will find the answer, it will help humanity to go on further pretty dynamically. So I hope that you are not scared about what I'm talking about. But it's interesting. Reality it's a little bit interesting, a little bit interesting.
Sure. And also, I very liked your quotation. You once said that religion is a factor of a certain lower development of society or civilization.
But you see what's going on with belief. You see, if I know, according to the ancient knowledge, I know and understand that you are a cell of the God. I'm also a cell of the God. How can I kill people? It's impossible to kill. To cut heads, like it goes on now in Iraq, it's impossible. Such things can happen only on the basement or on the level of belief.
Yeah.
Because belief can be different, one or another, but knowledge is the one. So on the level of the knowledge, people would never do it, would never ever do it. Mm-hmm. Just from this very simple, point of view, it's understandable. Knowledge is the key.
Well,
Yeah, beautiful. And also one question also you triggered from all your presentations. You very nicely talked about your ancient discoveries. And you told that earlier in Egypt, for example, they had 9 primordial gods. And all around we see we had many gods earlier in Greece, in Rome. We have many gods. And for example, today we are left only with one god. In Christianity, for example, in Buddhism, only one. So what can that mean, according to your ancient scripture investigation and why that happened exactly? What can you tell about that?
Oh, well, ancient knowledge is very interesting and worth for all of us to learn about it, to know it. And on one hand, ancient knowledge is talking about the God of the as the one who created this world.
Mm-hmm.
But these ancient texts said that, you know, he is not the end, he is not the last, he is not the supreme who created this universe, who created us. He is not the supreme God. There is something above him. And he, it's like when we came into this life, we do not remember our past life.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what will happen with us tomorrow. And we don't know what can happen with us in 1 year. But the ancient texts, they are giving the same idea about the God. So when, as the ancient text says, when he transformed from previous level and he became whom he is now. Now the universe is the body of the creator, okay? Body.
Mm.
And when he became like this, he doesn't know who he is now. And he started to investigate himself. He started to investigate environment where he is now through us, through people. And what is important in this knowledge? Important is that he gave us understanding about the mechanism of development. So if we go exactly the same way as he's going now, already billions and billions and billions of years, so we see that we can go this way. So he is the one, but at the same time, ancient text says that according to a supreme, I say, over universal principles, the human being, the planet Earth, and the creator consist of several energetic bodies. And what is interesting that energetic, like planes, like bodies, there are 12 of them, 12.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, on one hand, energetical body of a human being also, because it's just projection. It's one and the same thing. It's like a beam of light coming through a prism.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when this coming through a prism, it divides on 7 different lights. So this is the principle. So any human being, this is the focal point. We are a focal points of energy vortex of the God. So God has 12 energetic bodies. We human beings, we also have 12 energetic bodies.
Yeah.
And through these bodies, we are closely connected. Actually, not, I say closely connected. Actually, we are the God through these energetic bodies. Okay? So, through these bodies, he is able to see. I don't want to use this word control. No, but he has contact with us. Ongoing contact. Close contact with us. He sees what we do. He feels what we do. He knows what we are thinking about. Actually, we are from our side, we do not feel it. We do not realize it. So from our side to him, this way for us is mostly closed, but we should understand the whole world is constructed according to this principle. And this world is multiple dimensional structure. So for easy understanding, ancient knowledge, when the knowledge have been given to people, that the creator consists 12 bodies, okay? This knowledge was given long ago, and when the people lost maybe most important aspect, but on the other hand, we have no right to blame people for that. Mm-hmm. I'm explaining why. It's like any one of you, for example, if you go inside into the pyramid, okay, properly built on the proper place, and you lay into the sarcophagus, okay, like, for example, ancient Egyptian priests or pharaohs did, okay? So when you lay there, in a certain time, when the priests standing around, they were singing a song, like they were making a sound on a certain note. Mm-hmm. They were making the pyramid vibrate to resonate, and maybe 20, maybe 30 minutes, 35 minutes passed, and then suddenly the pharaoh or the priest left the body. Okay, suddenly his knowledge have been connected to universal informational field. Let's say like this, okay? From this moment, particular moment, all of you, immediately, you will be the one who will realize the whole idea of the universal development. Mm-hmm. You will be the one who will understand very clearly by any of yourselves the conception of development, mm-hmm, of the whole universe. At this particular moment, you are the one who knows all. But just right after, next second, when you get out of the sarcophagus, you will be keeping this energy, this understanding in yourself for few seconds, and then you will realize that you are losing something, just one piece, another piece, like a distraction, and then you have got just very few words to say. Mm-hmm. Understood?
Yeah.
So then happened the same thing with this knowledge. So people, they were trying to explain this knowledge, and sometimes it's impossible to explain by word. Mm. It should be explained by symbol. It should be explained also by connection with energy vortex, with certain energies. So step by step, people were trying to bring this knowledge in and formalize it so that this knowledge could be handled or to given through hundreds or thousands years to people. And coming along this way, many people were trying to bring their own understanding, okay, their own personal interests, sometimes egoistic, mm-hmm, okay, and this knowledge have been deformed. It was brought in a very simple way of explanation and understanding. So simplification of the knowledge brings this knowledge to, I don't know, maybe I will say right word, profanation. Is it okay, profanation? It's like when you bring it, it's almost on the level of almost stupid thing. Mm-hmm. When it almost has nothing to reality. But what is important that unfortunately, most part of the people, they can accept and they very openly accept this knowledge which have been simplified. Just given, it's like, mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Well, it means you have nothing to do anything else. Just sing this mantra. And everything will be done. Do you understand? This is wrong.
Yeah.
This world is very complicated. Yes, for sure. With the help of this mantra, you can get into kind of a tune to certain energetic vortex. Yeah, it's possible. But you have no possibilities to solve the problems with this help. So everything is much more complicated. So this is the reason. This how it works. So, and the knowledge about the actual construction of the God have been brought into a very simple way of understanding. Then these 12 bodies have been represented like a gods. Okay, God Ra, the 12th body, for example, the first energetic body of a human being have been presented like a Geb, the earth. The second energetic body, which is actually astral body, was represented as the Seth, and so on and so on and so on. And then more simple and simple and simple, and then appeared hundreds or thousands of the gods. And the knowledge have been lost and replaced by religious belief.
Yeah. And these 12 bodies, Valery, are they connected to the 12 signs of the zodiac?
From the point of rhythm, point of view of the rhythm, it means that everything around us is vibrating. Okay. Okay, I will try to explain it by a different way. Maybe it will be proper. Now listen to me. Look, this universe is the body of Creator. Okay? And each human being is the small cell of the body of Creator. Understandable?
Yes.
And each cell of human organism has its own vibration. Understandable, okay? So it means if you want to be in a resonance with energetic source of the God, you should, let's say like it, you should be in resonance with it, okay? What happened with planet Earth? Approximately, but not approximately, actually 13,667 years ago, when a huge planetoid hit planet Earth lost its orbit. And the previous orbit was 360 days to fly.
Okay? The perfect ellipse, yeah.
But then it became 365. Okay? So, if you take and investigate the pair, like Sun and the planet Earth, from the point of view of the physics, this is the, how to call it, it's like a vibrational, how we call it, I'm trying to find the right word. So let's say like this, the distance between planet Earth and the Sun, and the speed and the time of rotation around the Sun affects so-called personal vibration of planet Earth. In physics we call it Augen frequency. Maybe you know this word, Augen frequency. So it means that when planet Earth lost its orbit and moved away from the sun with the speed of 30 kilometers per second, okay? And we were flying, and now the difference is 5 days, now calculate. It's a pretty big distance. The planet found itself much further from the sun. Climate was changed, and this personal, individual vibration was also changed, okay? And now look what happened. Ancient text says, there was a time when people were talking on planet Earth on one language, okay? Remember? It was, you know, like prehistoric people, all the civilizations that have been talking on one language. And then God decided, and he interfered the process of building this Babylonian ziggurat, okay? And he divided all the people, and they lost this knowledge of one language, and they started to talk in different languages. So the main idea that this language actually was telepathic language. That's why all people they were able to talk with telepathic language. It's like another example. Especially those ladies who has kids, they will understand me very, very clearly. So if a lady has a child, there is a connection between mother and child. It's actually so close connection. On one hand, we can say there is no any. It's like mother and the child is the one. When the child is crying at home, mother feels it. She feels it very well, and she starts to experience vibration. And the same with the child. When mother is nervous, the child starts to cry. So it means that mother and the child is the one. All ancient texts says that not outer space civilization, no, planet Earth gave a birth to human being. Planet Earth. So from this point of view, between planet Earth and the human being living here, there is a very close connection. Understood? So it's like a vibrational code. So when the planet Earth moved away from the sun, the energetical vibrational environment have been changed, and people immediately lost ability to talk telepathically. Understood? That's the moment. So we by this way we have lost a connection with the source of energy. So what we can do in this situation? The ancient text gives very clear information about it and understanding. First, we should use so-called and well-known principle of golden section. So it means that if we will create maybe a local environment, like inside of the pyramid or inside of the temple or inside of the complex of the pyramid, built according to the golden section principle, we create this special energetical vibration environment as it was before the asteroid impact. Inside of this environment, human psyche like opens. Suddenly we start to feel ourselves better. We are getting ability to talk mentally. What is interesting? That's the case. So, and here we make the following step back to what we have started from. So, if we are the cell, we are cells of the God, and we have a very special vibration, okay? Each of us. So to get into contact with God, we need to go along this principle. we need to create a certain vibrational energetic environment which will immediately stimulate this connection between you and God. Remember, we have been talking a few minutes ago that God has a direct connection to us. He knows everything about, but we have no such connection from our side to God. Because if we would have it, we would know anything. Anything. But when we go into the pyramid, immediately we start to see and understand the whole conception. Remember, I was talking about it. Yeah. So this is the key. So if we understand it, and if we go this way, and we create like pyramids, or we build our homes according to this principle, we are creating a certain channel, energetic channel, which on one hand will connect us closer. The connection, this link between us to God will be more active, and at the same time our health is coming better, and we by the way, we are also, some of us, not like 100%, but at least I think at least around 50% of the people, they start to see and feel the presence of the parallel time realities, and this connection with real nature, with what is close to us, becomes more active. And this is quite a new step of our development. Absolutely interesting.
Yeah, and maybe important to mention here is that this connection between mother and child, or God and us, or however you want to put, it's instantly. It's not in our plane of time-space. The mother can be on the other side of the earth, and she will feel instantly when there's something wrong with the child. There's no time-space that we have to travel.
Right. That's what just exactly I was talking about. So according to this principle, we should use the knowledge, and if we will do it, then believe me, I think it's not the right word, believe me. I say, then you will see the big difference. I'm talking about your possibilities, your energetic abilities. We will be quite different. So if we will realize this knowledge, we need no more than 15 years of our civilization, and everything here will be changed, critically, completely changed, just 15 years. But what we should do, we should take this knowledge in account, then we should put all our hearts and all our hands together, living in peace and harmony, going along this way.
Yeah.
And then just 15 years and everything will be changed. Isn't it a wonderful perspective?
Yeah.
Indeed. Now, how can we manage to do that?
Well, actually, here in Russia, we are already started. We are building, we are creating this. Actually, who knows, maybe next year, we will start to build complexes in few countries. I already have got some invitation to build complexes in other countries. So what we need is to start. We need good will. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it. Just, throw away this politics. It's rubbish. Because, I have so many friends in America. They are my natives, let's say. They are my friends. They are like a cells of my blood. What can I share, or what can I argue with them? No, we are the ones. So we need to, and I want to live together. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
It's an invitation.
Beautiful. And Valery, we would like maybe to share one thing with you about the pyramids and the investigation of the pyramids and the possible usage of them. So we with Stefan found a very interesting thing. We just are not sure about that, but we feel maybe those pyramids could be used by for the acceleration of our cells and for healing those cells who are not in that one moment, who are extracted to the past time and to the future time, and they are not connected in that one place. And for example, we have a king's chamber, which is in the middle of the biggest pyramid, in the middle of the pyramid, and we have the sarcophagus in that pyramid. And as we know all that no body and no pharaoh was ever found in that sarcophagus, as you know, as a burial place. So we found maybe that that sarcophagus could be used for the grounding, or for the filling with the salty water for person to let in, to lose all the material and all the bodily aspects of the sensing, and or in order to experience that energy of the pyramids by grounding and by the floating in that salty water. And for example, people could just gather together and also use that sounds and vibrations like cymatics singing together in order to help that one person who could be laying in that sarcophagus. So because I think that some kind of the reason should be for that for that thing or sarcophagus to be placed in that place. And also, what is sarcophagus? Sarcophagus is the thing for the and all the religion of Egypt was based on the those dead ones who shall arise and shall live forever, after life. So that's the same. They use that sarcophagus in order to accelerate the cells of the human body, to fix what is in illness or not gathered together in that one moment. Maybe, as you also very nicely expressed about how cancer occurs in our body. So they, with the vibrations, they could use by grounding with earth, maybe person in that sarcophagus, or maybe with salty water, and using vibration, they could heal that person in that pyramid. So what can you tell maybe about that? What can you think about that? So just like
I would say first thing that first important idea. When we have built first pilot pyramid, not well, actually in the vicinity of St. Petersburg, and started to make first experiments there, we came to clear understanding that this investigation gives us idea about quite new science, which we actually has no idea about. And this is the science of the human body. This is the science about reaction of the human body in the pyramids. This is the science about effect of the pyramid on the human body and reaction on the human body of the influence of the pyramid. So it's quite different science, very, very unusual. And if you take into account, you were talking about Cheops pyramid. Well, you're right. Never, ever in history, I'm talking about Egypt, any mummies have been found there. But on the other hand, it's clear that to build such huge pyramids just for mummies, it's useless. There is no need and idea. The problem is that the texts, they have been translated and interpreted in the wrong way. Because all that texts actually I was also working with, they were talking about living people who were alive, not dead. That's the reason. And then, yes, the pyramid is the resonator, sarcophagus is the resonator, king's chamber is tuned on a certain range of vibrations. Well, I'm going to describe some very interesting discoveries done by myself when I was investigating the geometry of the pyramid, and most important is the principles which have been embodied into that pyramid. There are some aspects which I can share. The others, I will not do that, because this knowledge gives a pure understanding how to build very effective psychotronic weapon. So from this point of view, yeah, I'm not going to publish some aspects of the knowledge. But as for the others, it's clear that doesn't matter what investigators says, for example, about Cheops pyramid. The parameters of the pyramid is a little bit different to what investigators are discussing. And these relationships, for example, about height of the pyramid and the length of basement of the pyramid has nothing to do with golden section at all. There are some other principles embodied into this pyramid. So the main idea is that we made very important steps already for understanding what is pyramid. It's done. No need to go back. This is the reason why I have published the book, like the pyramid book. So any person or individual who is interested can go, download the book for free and read it in English language, no problem. Then we need to make following step. We need to build a pyramid and to make scientific investigation inside of this pyramid. Because before we did it a few years ago, any atoms of the respected scientists and investigators talking about the properties of the pyramids and the energetical effect of the pyramid to the human body or living or non-living nature. That was not honest, because they have never did the right experiments in the pyramid, because all pyramids have been destroyed, right? So what we are talking about, if we have no normal, full-scale, properly built pyramid, so and this is the reason why we did it. We already have got very interesting, very important information about the pyramid, the effect of the pyramid on the human body. And I tell you, as all these answers which we have got and all these effects which pyramid has are useless. There is no need to use all these properties for dead body.
Yeah.
What's the reason? It's just the same thing as to give a cell phone to a dead body, to put it, and to bury a person with a cell phone. What's the meaning?
Yeah.
He has no ability to talk. You can phone, but you will not able to talk with him or with it. The same thing is here. Important is that we understood, and we can make a very serious step forward. Actually, this is instrument we can use for medicine. We can use it for self-development. This is very important aspect. We noticed, and this is scientifically proved, that if you take a person with some illness like osteochondrosis or the other illnesses, and you go inside of the pyramid and you visit a pyramid according to a certain rhythm, a certain principle, okay? Then this illness, the speed of development of this illness slows down. It slows down so that the illness disappears. But we should be in a certain resonance with the planet Earth. So when you are talking about the pyramid and the main idea of this effect, I would explain it like principle of resonance. All people need to synchronize vibration of our energetical bodies and synchronize vibration of ourselves with energetical body of the planet Earth. So when we will synchronize it with the help of the pyramid, we synchronize all 7 energetical bodies. 7. But with the help of the wands of Horus, I'm talking, we can synchronize first 3 energetical bodies. And this is important to understand and to know that synchronization of this first 3 energetical body of a human being and the planet Earth gives us ability to avoid cancer problems. That's the reason why. And it's clear that the wands of Horus have been used as the preventing tool against cancer. But the pyramids, they were synchronized, actually they are synchronizing all 7 energetical bodies. And if you did it like you synchronized, you immediately go into contact, like you go into interaction with energetical source of the planet Earth. For us, if we are the kids of Mother Planet Earth, we immediately start to interact. Anything in our consciousness, anything in our body immediately goes and changes for better. And at the same time, we are connecting our immune system, the reservoir of our energy of immune system, with the reservoir of the energy of the planet Earth and the universe. And that's why immune system immediately starts to behave, to act as the, very, how to say, like a mind, understanding what to do. So interesting effects we have found in the pyramid. So pyramid is the instrument for synchronization. And actually, Hermetic texts like emeralds of Hermes, emerald tables of Hermes, they are talking exactly about synchronization. So actually this knowledge has been discovered and explained, and we can use it.
Yeah, beautiful. But also we have to remember, and all the listeners have to remember that pyramids can do nothing if the person himself doesn't want to heal, for example. It can do nothing if the person will also himself personally will not involve any wish and any growth and so on. And also you very nicely expressed that pyramids are able to slow the energy of our bodies. And for example, what happens, they can slow the energy, but it's up to human himself or herself to be able to see that slowed energy. And when you see, for example, slowed energy, you see what is bad in those cells, for example, what should be healed, because everything is slowed and you see the whole picture, the whole painting canvas, and you can see the colors and you can fix in that moment. So it's only up to person who are working in accordance, in harmony with the pyramids to heal that. So
there is another very important aspect. First of all, which I'd like to say, so pyramid and the process of synchronization is synchronizing inside of a human being the speed of inner biological time. That's the moment. It's not the slowing down of energy. No, it's a correction. To slow down the inner biological time, it's wrong, and to speed up the inner biological time is wrong. We need first to harmonize. Baka or yin yang, it's not like female or male beginning. This is two encounter flows of time. One flow is speeding up inner biological time, the other slowing down. What we should do, and the pyramid is helping, and the wands of Horus and the insouls with copper and zinc and earth, they were given as the knowledge, and they represent this knowledge of harmonization of these two flows of time. If you harmonize it and keep it like this for at least 2 weeks, the effect of conservation of time starts. It means from this moment you can live 100 years, 200 years, and so on and so on and so on. But we should be in rhythm with planet Earth, okay? We should be in rhythm with the universe. So actually the calendar that we know from ancient civilization, and like you said recently, these 12 signs, cosmic, all this is the knowledge about rhythms. On one hand, this is the rhythms according to which the whole, the planet and the cosmos is vibrating. On the other hand, if we want to build something, to build like a pyramid, or to build anything else, we should build it according to a certain vibrational range, and this division on 12 or per 4, actually all this knowledge, and I'm giving a very, very detailed description of this geometry and this wave principles in my book. If you take it in account and use it, it's easy to build home or a pyramid according to these fundamental principles, which allows you to go into deep, immediate contact with, let's say, this nature around us. Yeah. And if we are in this contact, anything will be changed in us. And pretty soon, as I told you, no more than 15 years. Look, another thing, important aspect, why pyramids have been developed so slowly. There is one aspect, actually, I should share with you all. Some people can consider this effect to be negative. But from this moment, I tell you, no, this effect has nothing to do with negativity. This is the very positive and giving us, a chance. Now I'm coming to explanation, what I'm talking about. If any person, go inside of the pyramid, the first effect which happens with human being is pyramid is stimulating initial qualities of human being. Do you understand what it means? Initial qualities. So if the person have been nervous, very bad, negatively acting to people around, pyramid will stimulate this. And the person will get out of the pyramid like a crazy one, like a hell. Much, much more evil than it was before. But, as I told you, many people can say, oh, it's a negative effect. No, it's not a negative effect. This is the effect. First, you should know about it, and then you should use it in the proper way. Giving you idea about experiment which we did for last 3 years already. We decided to make a kind of experiment with a kid. It was a girl, very, very naughty, very, very noisy. Well, it's it was always very difficult to be close to her, because when I visited my friends in Ukraine, they were living in Ukraine, actually not so far from Sevastopol. Now it's Crimea, or already Russian territory, thanks to God. But anyway, it was always very, very difficult to talk, because this very dynamic, very noisy person always interrupting. Oh, it's something. And we made a decision. I said, okay, we came to understanding how a pyramid is working. So let's make an experiment. Let's take your child, girl. What we should do? We need to produce. We made and install in each room a pyramid. Like we call it home or office pyramid with energetic sources inside. So the pyramid should be in her sleeping room, in her playing room, anything, everywhere where it's possible. Then, what you should do, I told to her parents, you should start to teach her in the form of game to something, for example, music. And they invited a very good teacher, and they started to exercise their child step by step. You know, in 2 years, when this girl was 10 years old, she was the best piano player in Russia. Can you imagine? Just 2 years. Because already in a half of the year, this child was so deeply interested in playing, so pyramid stimulated this initial impulse. Understood?
Yeah.
Then what parents did, they just supported this impulse, giving like a, they were always saying, good, you're doing well, so helping her, and the energy was working. And then when I came and visited them back again in 1 year, I was amazed that when we were sitting and eating, this child was keeping like a cup of tea in the left hand, but the right hand was like moving over the table, playing the piano. She was absolutely engaged in the process of self-transformation. And she became. So let's get back to the example I gave before at the beginning. So if any one of us, we know about some, negative aspects of our soul, okay? And because of many reasons, sometimes even whole life is not enough for us to change this aspect and to change something else for better. In this particular case, pyramid can help it. What we should do? We should go inside and then just suppress this quality, initial quality, suppress few times, and then pyramid will replace the quality of the energy, this negative energy, by positive energy, and then very, very soon, any person will experience transformation, complete transformation from negative aspects into positive ones. Isn't it great?
Yeah, beautiful.
But this is the question of the knowledge. You need to know how it's working and what we should do to realize all these endless capacities of the pyramid. Pyramid is something very special. It's great.
Yeah. And also I see that you mostly talking about pyramids, but for example, in Russia, you have lots of and huge amount of the dolmens in Russia, especially in Caucasus Mountains and the Novorossiysk and Sochi place. There are hundreds of megalithic monuments. Have you ever investigated them, and have you ever? Are they being used in a certain way as the pyramids are, or what can you tell us about that? Because they're very beautiful.
Actually, dolmen, if you want to understand the principles embodied in the dolmens and the mechanisms which have been used, so it's easy. For example, take Cheops pyramid, okay? Then take out of the pyramid the king chamber, and then put it on a certain power place, okay? This will be a dolmen. Then a hole in the dolmen. on one hand, this hole will allow to go inside. So when you go inside and you sit in the middle of the pyramid, like in the middle of this chamber, and this chamber has a very specific proportions, very specific materials, you find yourself in the middle of certain energetic influence, okay? And then if you turn this hole in a certain direction to the next dolmen, okay? By this way, you form energetic chain. And by this way, you can connect a certain amount of dolmens which will be empowering each other. And then, sitting in a dolmen somewhere in Latvia, you don't know, you can talk with me being here in Russia through dolmens.
Wow. And also, those dolmens are aligned to certain star correlations, and there are different. So, we are using certain dolmen, we are using certain correlation, and no other person using the other. And also, we can also not only sit there alone, we can also fill with salty water, as I mentioned in pyramid, or just ground oneself, uniting the energies of the earth. So yeah, it's magnificent.
Yeah. This is just the knowledge. This is the question of knowledge. So then, if you have knowledge, we should use it.
Yeah.
So let's use it, and that's it. Don't wait for tomorrow or the day after tomorrow or whatever. Start to use it today.
Yeah.
And then you will see that anything around you will be transformed pretty fast.
And you also said that you are very engaged in the work of building your own pyramids, your own new pyramids. But for example, have you ever tried to rebuild or just restore or just fix some dolmens in Russia, for example, which are native, and just try to fix and again make them work again in order? Have you ever tried that, maybe?
Actually, I say like this: we don't need it. Why? Because for this last 25 years, investigating all possible, sources and texts and information about the pyramids and ancient knowledge and paleosciences and paleotechnologies, we have gathered information which can allow us to build a pyramid which will embody in itself, or the complex in the pyramid, which will embody in itself the whole knowledge embodied in other pyramids. So that's why I can, I can say directly and honestly that the complex we are going to build in Siberia will be the most powerful one ever built on our planet for last at least 20,000 years. The most powerful, most effective, because here we put all together. Because if you go to India, you can find the pyramids, and there are some principles embodied there. In China, there are the principles. In Egypt, other. Mayan pyramid, other. Because long ago, like thousands of years ago, the knowledge, which have been like one knowledge, have been broken into pieces and found its reflection in different types of pyramids all over the world. What we did, we brought back all together. And we built the complex. And this complex is something very special. For the last 20,000 years, nothing like this have been built on our planet. That's important. So, and this is the reason why we don't need dolmens at all. Because dolmens, it's like, when you want to build something to influence your energy system, but you have no possibilities to build a pyramid. You can build dolmen, it's okay, you can do it. But if you can to build something more, let's say, more serious, more, more effective, like a pyramid, sure, we should build pyramids.
So the dolmens are the pyramid for the poor man, so to speak.
No, it's just a small section of the pyramid. It's not complete pyramid. It's a section. It's like again, you can take out the queen chamber or the king chamber or the other chambers, if you just take the walls and roofs and the floors and put it somewhere in the forest on the power places, it's gonna be a dolmen.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually explanation.
Mm.
But when the knowledge have been lost, you can see the dolmens of different shape, and they are so weird sometimes. Like, you know, when you look at them, they remind you like a mushroom or a group of mushrooms. But you know, yeah, mostly they are situated on the right place, but their geometry is far, far away from proper geometry. The knowledge was lost, and I see, and I know, and I have a lot of examples of the dolmens which have been built on the right place, but geometry was wrong. So knowledge actually have been lost.
And we're regaining it. Now, have you, in your own pyramids, have you tested it for yourself? Have you slept over and, you know, felt the energy?
No, pyramid is not the place where you can sleep. No, pyramid you should use for a certain, let's say, work or a certain practices. Mm-hmm. It's not to sleep, because if you take any pyramid, you have 3 focal points inside. 3. One focal point is on the floor of the first floor, in the middle of the first floor. Then in the middle of the pyramid and under the pyramidion, the third one. And each focal point, it has different capacities. For example, if you put a bed on the first floor of the pyramid and you go there to sleep late at night, absolutely tired, no more than in 2 hours, pyramid will wake you up. And you will get out of the pyramid, you know, without good sleep and whatever. If you go into the middle of the pyramid, in the middle focal point, the effect will be different. There you can sleep. Yeah, it's possible. But again, I tell you, pyramid was designed and is designed for quite different reasons. Mm-hmm. You go inside for special practices. But and remember, pyramid is a generator. If pyramid is constructed and designed according to a principle, and certain materials like quartzite and the other have been used, pyramid is a generator. But if you build the pyramid for example, from glass, this pyramid will be accumulator. You see the difference? So, when you build a pyramid, the first thing you should do is answer the question: what for you need it? How you're going to use it? For what reasons? What kind of effects you want to use, and what actually, as the results, you plan to have? And then all these answers will give idea which kind of parameters should be embodied so that the pyramid will work like this. But in general, all over the world, pyramids were built not for sleeping, for practices, for synchronization. If you ask me, is it possible to build a pyramid, for example, as a home for living and sleeping? Yes, possible. But then you should embody different principles. So it should be done a little bit different. Then it's possible. But in the pyramid, like we know it, for example, like Cheops pyramid, no, it's not for sleep. Yeah. You can now think about it. What we have been talking about, analyze. Yes. And then we can connect each other next time, and to continue sharing of information according to ideas which you will work out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
It's a very complex matter. Things just popping up
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
head.
yeah. That's why I told you from the beginning, don't be hurry.
No, we have time.
Yeah, yeah, we have time. Thanks to God, we have time. So let's do it. Now you know my, Skype nick. We are in contact, so we can repeat it again and again.
It's great. I think this is a great
Beautiful.
length for the first show.
Yeah,
Just about 2 hours. We have touched many things, and maybe the next time we can go a little bit more deeper into certain
yeah,
questions
yeah, right.
about the effects of the Wands of Horus, how to use them,
Hmm.
and so on. There's so much more to speak about, but yeah, this may be just it for today, Valerie.
Okay, my friends. Big
We,
hug to you.
yeah,
Big hug to you.
thank you so much. Big hugs all over the world,
Yeah,
and yeah, thanks for being with us, and we're looking forward to the next one.
yeah, my friends.
Okay.
Bye bye then. Bye
Bye
bye.
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 Good night. Bye bye.
Bye.
I know you know, I know you are the light that will shine, shine, shine on your mind, mind, mind. Yeah, so bright, 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 that will shine, shine, shine. Bright, 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 bright on your mind, mind, mind. Yeah, so bright, bright.